Check us out, use the hotline number to chime. Come on and join us, there's lots of surprise for you. Fun and family, with great fellowship too.
Crystal and Sean have exciting words. I'm sure there's something that you've never heard. Sunday at 6, it's an excellent mix. We got spiritual flair, special guests will be there.
Come on and join us, we're here and ready for you. Connect with us at 6 o'clock, we want to share in all you do. Come on and join us, come right here and find. Connect with us and share your thoughts, we want to explore your mind. Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?
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 Come on and join us, we're gonna have a good time. Listen up, check us out, use the hotline number to chime. Come on and join us, there's lots of surprise for you. Fun and family, with great fellowship too.
Crystal and Sean have exciting words. I'm sure there's something that you've never heard. Sunday at 6, it's an excellent mix. We got spiritual flair, special guests will be there.
Come on and join us, we're here and ready for you. Connect with us at 6 o'clock, we want to share in all you do. Come on and join us, come right here and find. Connect with us and share your thoughts, we want to explore your mind. Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?
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 Come on and join us, we're gonna have a good time. Listen up, check us out, use the hotline number to chime. Come on and join us, there's lots of surprise for you. Fun and family, with great fellowship too.
Crystal and Sean have exciting words. I'm sure there's something that you've never heard. Sunday at 6, it's an excellent mix. We got spiritual.
Hello. Welcome to Chattitudes.
And happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Chattitudes, what's your attitude today? We're very excited on Father's Day. We're celebrating some fathers, and we have some black fathers in the studio with us because our theme today is Black Fathers Matter. It is very, very important to us, and we're so happy that they even graced us with their presence and that they didn't find it robbery to be here today, because I know that they could be with their families, because these are some good family men that we have with us today. So we're just grateful to have them today. Anything, Sean?
Yes, so they'll come up soon.
Yes.
But right now we're going to get the formalities out the way. We just want to thank all of our friends and family partners. We want to thank everyone for their love, support for Chattitudes.
Yes.
And again, as usual, if you would love to support us financially, please go to Cash App, and you can send whatever amount you wish, whatever God lays in your heart. $Chattitudes. So we really appreciate that. And also, if you want to chime in later today during the show, our hotline number is 240-719-2560. And if you want to learn more about Chattitudes, you can find us on Instagram at Chattitudes 2020, on Facebook at Chattitudes, and on our website, chattitudes.org. Thank you.
All righty. I'm just saying, so now more than ever, we need to basically fight racial injustice.
Yes.
What better way to do that than to get black fathers together? Amen. Let's talk. I mean, we've done this series now 3 weeks in a row. We talked about, like, what do we need to do as a black community? The first thing we talked about was economics. That was 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
We talked about, last week, we talked about the diversity in the black community. We talked about diversifying our portfolio, how we can get economic stability. These things are important. Our guests raised some very important things last week. They say, hey, let's get a black agenda going. Let's get a Black Wall Street going again. And, you know, it's such a myth. It's such a stereotype. And the reason that I really wanted to do Black Fathers Matter today is because it's such a stereotype right now that Black fathers are not there for their children. And we know that that's just not the case.
Nope.
The numbers are overinflated.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it. I was particularly disturbed. I was reading this article, and the article was talking about this man who actually started the Black Father Matter movement. And how it came to be was that he was actually in a grocery store, right? He was in his grocery store, and a white woman came up to him, and the white woman said to him, "Hey, thanks for sticking around." You know, he had his 3 kids with him, and she said, "Thanks for sticking around." But that's the stereotype, and that's the myth of how society has portrayed the Black father. So now this white woman sees this man in a grocery store with his 3 children and really applauds him for sticking around.
Right.
He started a whole movement. And so now there's so many Black organizations that help young Black men and all of these things. And so I want to dispel that rumor today because I got a lot of statistics, and I'm telling you right now, it is a myth. It is a myth. And we'll talk about how the numbers are overinflated.
I was about to say, I got some numbers here too for you.
Right. Yep. We'll talk about how the numbers are overinflated. We'll talk about so many different things. I'm not going to talk so much because I'm going to let the fathers come up and speak because sometimes women, we got to be quiet and just let the men speak. So I'm not going to talk a lot today, hopefully. But I do have, before we get started with our sponsors, and I'll show you who the sponsors are, I do have what is called the Word of the Week.
Yeah,
Let's the Word of the Week, the Word of the Week. So the word of the week this week, as you know, if you've been with us and if this is your first time with us, we welcome you. So every week we do the word of the week. The word of the week always comes from the Urban Dictionary, never comes in the Webster's Dictionary. We don't know why, because we just like the Urban Dictionary.
Black Lives Matter.
And it's Black Lives Matter. That's why. That's right. That's right, Sean. That's why. So the word of the week this week, then listen to this. This is so cool. So I didn't even know this word. It's called dad bod. You ever heard of that?
I did.
I never heard of dad bod.
I think I first heard of that when they related it to Obama. I mean.
Oh, really? Don't nobody talk about no Obama now. So dad bod. So dad bod is a male body type that is described as softly round. Softly round. In other words, the 6-pack is gone. It's no longer there. So now it's softly round. And it typically happens, guys, when you get married or after you have kids. You're not really interested in maintaining the physique anymore. So you don't have the 6-pack anymore. A lot of fathers. So sometimes we'll slip into the dad bod.
Right.
So I mean, I probably got a dad bod. I don't even know if I have a dad bod. But I'm just saying, I got a mom bod right now. So. But we got to do better, right? So that's one of the things. I mean, that's why we had heart health on our show. We had fitness on our show. We got to do better with the dad bod. So the dad bod. So we got everybody just saying, hello, Dave. That's my cousin Dave. His first time here, maybe. But we love you and happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to all of you guys out there. So dad bod. So let's debunk all of these stereotypes today, guys. Let's debunk all of the myths today. But before we get started, we're actually going to go to my screen, and we're going to talk about our sponsors. We're going to talk about our sponsors today. And so, as you know, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black businesses matter. Go out and support them. Our first black business actually is from Deshawn. She has Gold Crown Cosmetics, guys. She does body butter, body oil, body scrub, lip balm. She is a young entrepreneur. It's all about Gold Crown Cosmetics. Reach out today, guys. Support her business. She's a young entrepreneur just trying to make it, and we all about supporting our young entrepreneurs.
Yes. And next is Nicole Company.
Yes.
Yes, Nicole, congratulations, Quincy. Nicole Company is a lip gloss line that is committed to exhibiting beauty in various ways. All of the products are organic and cruelty-free. Pop into a shop today to see the beautiful products.
Yes, and I'm wearing Nicole products today. I love that brown skin girl. And next is Tanika Total Look. Tanika Total Look, hey, achieve your total look with Tanika Total Look. Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, she's been my stylist for years. She's my sister. She's my friend. She's my confidant. I love Tanika Total Look. Hey, call her 674-6022. I got that number in my memory bank. I don't even need to look at that number. It's on speed dial.
Yes, next we have Fonville and Associates Financial Services. Shelby Farmville is the president of Farmville and Associates Financial Services. You can find them on Facebook at Farmville and Associates Financial Services. They provide information on retirement planning, insurance, and annuities.
Yes, and next we have Lucas Photography. Look at here. Oh, he is, hey, I know you still have prom season. People still want to take pictures, graduations. We have all of those things. If you need a photographer, Mark Lucas is the man. Call him today, 240-507-8222. I'll be calling him soon because I know we have December graduations coming up. So I'll be calling him soon to actually do my daughter's photography. Hey, guys, support black businesses. You looking for a photographer? You want to look good on your photos? Now, hey, we got to stop using these iPhones. Get some professional photography, people. Get some. Stop using these iPhones. All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much to our sponsors. And we definitely have all of our family and friends sponsors.
Absolutely.
And we'll put them up later. These are the people who support us every single month.
Yes.
They actually give a $10 donation every single month faithfully so that we can keep having this program brought to you. So we are particularly excited about our sponsors, and we really, really do appreciate you. All right, guys, we're not gonna hold this thing up. We need to get these fathers up here. We need to get them up here. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do, we're going to go to commercial break. I'm going to tell you guys, hang on for about a minute and a half, because the next people coming to the stage, you're going to love them. that was a good little slicer. You're going to love these two men coming to the stage.
We got some black fathers coming.
And they say, hey, we there for our kids. Where the rest of you all black fathers? But yeah, so we're going to go into our commercial break, and then we'll be back in about a minute. All right. Stay with us, guys. Don't go anywhere.
All right.
Turn that up.
Hey, Chuck! Talk to me, Pastor Mitchell. I don't know about you, but I've had all kinds of friends in my life. I think I've been right down that road with you. Yeah, I had some so-called friends. Yes. When trouble came, they went the other way. Tell me about it. But one thing I'm glad about, that ain't a friend like the lonely Jesus. No. Well,
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. We're so excited to have you back with us. Hey, we're back. We're back with some lovely, lovely guests. Hey, everybody says hello, everyone. Hazel Moss is on. William Tosin, that's my husband. And I wish him Happy Father's Day a million times, but I love him. I love him. I love him. Arlene says, hey, Reverend Jordan. You talking to Reverend Jordan, Arlene. Hey, will you feature the sponsors again? Yes, we can run the sponsors back a little later for you, Miss Muriel Wooten. That's our girl. She is our strong Chattitudes supporter. Reverend Wooten is on the line. Hey, we got some black fathers here with us today. We are totally excited. All right, so to my left is Mr. Adrian Jordan. He is a native Washingtonian. He attended Florida A&M. He's a member of Omega Psi Phi. I can't do that, but I'm a Delta. So he's a member of Omega Psi Phi. Adrian is actually right now, he is employed as a government relations director of Anthem Inc. Sounds pretty big to me. I don't know. That sounds big, Adrian. And also he's a former actually ANC commissioner, and I actually helped him with his campaign. He was a former candidate for DC's Board of Education. And so that's very key. So that's very important. So we'll talk about that even a little later. And he's a devoted husband, and he is a father to one son. And we just want to welcome him. Adrian is also the grandson of one of our greatest Chattitudes supporters, the Reverend Charlene Jordan, who actually wrote our theme song that you hear at the beginning of Chattitudes. And so we're very, very excited to have Adrian with us. So welcome, sir.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. It's one of the first times I'm being out, so I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're glad you sound like a politician. What's going on with you? He sound like a mama talking right there. Thank you very much. He's a politician, guys. He's a politician. All right.
And to my right, we have Mr. Rodney Page, Reverend Rodney Page. He was born and raised in Prince George's County. He now resides in Brandywine, Maryland. He has a wife, Trina, of 20 years, and two beautiful children, Trey and Quincy. He is an ordained minister in New Home Baptist Church. He is a licensed barber and a financial advisor as well. He is a newly member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to say all of them. Okay, Lambda Gamma chapter. He enjoys spending time with his family and friends and doing improvement projects around the home, online shopping, mentoring, and he is a huge fan of the Oakland Raiders.
Amen.
Yes, along with my husband.
So
my husband is a huge fan of the Oakland Raiders. So welcome.
Yes, thank you.
We're really, really happy to have you guys here, and happy Father's Day.
Yes, happy
we're so
Father's
excited
Day.
to have you. So we just diving right in.
Yes.
Like I said, we're going to let the men talk. Look at him. Good.
Ready to go.
Let's do it.
The men talk.
Let's do it.
So I'm going to start off. I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm going to throw off one of the stats. So it says that most black fathers actually do live with their children.
Absolutely.
The CDC actually keeps track of this.
Exactly.
So 1.7 million
There you go.
dads, no, actually about 2.5 million dads who live with their children.
That's it.
1.7 million do not.
Right.
But we're going to talk about this later. We're going to get into this later about do you define fatherless as being in the house or being outside of the house? Because you can be outside of the house and still be a father.
Absolutely.
Because being active in your child's life means that I'm actively engaging with my child. So whether I'm in the house or not in the house, because some fathers can be in the house and not actively engage with their children.
True.
And so therefore our numbers really get inflated with that. And so I would start off just asking you guys, why is it, what do you think it means? Black fathers matter. What's that about?
All right, well, I'll start it off. And I got to say, I'm glad you're having this conversation today. I was having an earlier conversation about protecting the black brand.
Oh, yeah.
So when you talk about Black Fathers Matter and you talk about the statistics and some of the things where like, oh, I'm glad you stuck around, why is that the narrative that we have?
Right.
And it's because we haven't protected our brand and we haven't told our stories. So I'm glad that we have this platform, and it's unfortunate that it had to take the social injustice, that's going on now that we've had to do it. But we need to do more of these things.
Absolutely.
And no one else is going to do it. So that's a part of why it hasn't happened, because we haven't told our stories.
Okay. That's a good point. That's a good point.
And I kind of feel like it's very important for the black male to be present in the home. Black fathers matter because I grew up in a household without my dad. So I grew up in a single parent household, and that growing up and seeing other friends having both parents in the household, it made me feel some kind of way, and I felt like,
right.
you know, there was a void in my life. But I didn't take that void and use it as an excuse. I took that void and used it as fuel to be the best dad that I could be. And so that's what, you know, I think, and I think in terms of Black Fathers Matter, we matter more than just what we can do in the service that we provide and the love that we provide, but our presence is so important.
Oh, yeah.
Our
That's
presence
key.
is
That's
important.
key.
So whether you're a dad that's married and living in the home with the children, or you're living outside of the home, but you can still be present.
Absolutely.
You can still, I mean, with technology, you can be several places at the same time, but it's the presence that makes a difference. And I think that spills into generations.
You said something
Oh,
there.
that is important. That is
and that sort of
absolutely key.
leads me, you're right, that leads me to this question you brought up in terms of looking at when you was your mom was a single mom and you was brought up without a dad. So that leads me to this. While some men are repeat offenders, right, with the dad not being there, what is it that makes other men choose to be better fathers than what they saw as boys? So what is, and I know you said that it made you feel some kind of way, but why did you choose a different route than what your dad did?
Well, I chose a different route because I know how it felt
Right.
to be in that situation without a dad. My setup now is I'm married, have 2 children. One biological which is my daughter, but I married into a blended family.
Right.
So I have a son, Trey, that's 27 years
Right.
old. I don't use the term step
Absolutely.
because if I'm the dad, I'm there,
Right.
and that's what
Right.
it is. I believe that step is a division.
Right.
So for me, I just didn't want my children to ever feel like I felt.
Amen. I
And
get that.
you
Amen.
know, and I think if you can kind of flip the script, it can help you turn a negative into a positive.
Amen.
Yes. Oh, well, thank you. Adrian, you
Adrian,
have anything to add
Yeah,
to
no,
that?
I mean, so, not only is he my fraternity brother, but we have a similar background. I
Okay.
also was raised in a single mother household,
Okay.
and that void I felt as well. And it was just something inside of me that said, I'm not going to allow this to happen again. So whatever it takes, I'm going to be present in the
Absolutely.
household.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just did the total opposite.
Can we get
Yeah.
more? Somebody said Rodney's mic I think that's, what's that mic for? They need to be increased. They said they can't hear him.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So, we got a lot of responses here. Everybody's telling you guys Happy Father's Day. They're enjoying your
Thank you.
responses
Thank you.
already.
Thank you. Thank you.
People are saying absolutely. They're responding to it in great fashion. All right. So, how do you, not all, and you touched on this already. So and I read this, not all men are biological fathers. Not all fathers have biological children. And so you touched on this already, because a lot of times fathers will go into a household where there's already a child. Do you do anything different from that? And I know that's a challenge. And we're going to talk about blended families. That's one of our topics.
Right.
I know that that's a challenge in many ways, because I'm just talking as a mother. Sometimes when I've had, a person in my life, I may not want them to discipline that child, because I may feel like you're a little harder in disciplining that child than you may be to your own child. And how do you make sure it's consistent across the board in terms of making sure you show the same support for this child as you do your biological child when you get into this situation?
Well, I think for me, it's, you just have to be very balanced in your approach to discipline. Number one, you have to have the buy-in from mom, first of all, because there's no way I could come in and just be a dictator and
Amen.
flip the script over the kingdom that was already established.
Right.
So I got to work my way in. I got to build the trust in the relationship
Right.
with the child, as well as mom has to be able to see in me that I'm able to take care of the son and not abuse my authority.
Right.
And so in doing that, then everyone gets to see that, oh, yeah, he's for real. He's not going to be,
Right.
lopsided in his approach. And then
Right.
in our situation, then when we had Quincy,
Right.
it was like, okay, nothing's changing.
Right.
Nothing changes. It's just the fact that I have a son and a daughter.
Right.
And there are 2 different styles of dads that have to come with the son and the daughter.
Right.
But,
Right.
absolutely.
Right. That's a great answer. Adrian, your grandmother's on here. I can't help that your grandmama's on here. She said, tell them how early you started talking to your son.
Oh, I mean, from birth,
Right.
about, everything.
Absolutely.
Just everything. And I mean, even now, what's going on CNN, what's going on in the paper, why are we out of school? you can do it through a lens in which he can understand, but you can't shelter them from the realities that we face.
Oh, very good. That's a good point. So how do you, what's that conversation like to your children as a father? Even, I mean, I know you have a son and a daughter, but what's the conversation, and is it a sit-down formal conversation? What's the conversation like? Is it at a dinner table? I mean, what are you telling them? What are you telling them as a father?
Well, some of the best conversations that I've had have been in the car. You know, when we're going from A to B.
Right.
It's the personal time that you get to spend with each child individually. So I know with my son, we do a lot of stuff because I'll take him to work and things like that. So we talk in the morning.
Right.
So we're talking about current events. We're talking about, hey, how do you handle, peer pressure? How do you handle what if you get in this situation? How do you respond to this?
Right.
And then the same is true with my daughter. Just presenting scenarios and hearing them first, and then trying to explain from where they are.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, your son being so young, I mean, how do you navigate that? How do you talk to him?
But it's also similar. I mean, also a lot in the car. I mean, we have soccer, we have baseball, we have all these different things that we do. And instead of him putting up the iPad and just unplugging, it's like, well, let's start with answering some questions, because he's 8. He doesn't want to be bothered. But if I say, how was your day? Oh, I played. Okay, no, let's go through the steps.
Right.
And then we can talk about, well, why did this happen?
Right.
And then, I'll let him go back. And then just leaving little things around. I used to have Time Magazine. And he's like, I still remember this conversation. Why does this monster win? And he was talking about Trump after the election. And he sees these things and he's inquisitive, and we can explain it in that way. But, I agree. I mean, a lot of time is in the car going back and forth in different activities.
Right. Okay. That's pretty cool.
And I think it's also important to have those conversations, because children have so much access to information now. So
That's true.
you better kind of get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they'll find it out from whether friends or bad sources.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they'll
That's
have a impression burnt into their memory that you got to work hard to fix. And repair.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Hazel asked a question on the chat line. She says, since your father was not in your life, who did you look to for a male role model?
So this is fun. We were just talking about it. I mean, one of the reasons, I'm a Q, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, is because my uncle was always there. I got to see an educated black man who went to college, who went to graduate school, who pledged, and he surrounded himself with people like that. And I said, you know what, that's what I want to be.
Wow.
So that's been the biggest influence for me.
Oh,
Okay.
great.
And so, what advice would you give a young father who didn't have a positive role model? Not even an uncle. They just did not see that example. What advice would you give them today?
I mean, the first advice I'd get is, just be present, engage, listen. It'll be times where you're frustrated. I've been there. But don't let it get to you. But just be present and engaged. And, it gets easier. This is going to work.
Absolutely.
But you learn each other.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And like you said, you kind of learn those ropes to skip. You learn the boundaries and things like
Absolutely.
that. It's just give it time.
All right.
In addition to that, I would say, it's about your network. So if you surround yourself with certain types of people, that's what you can become.
Okay.
So I know for me, I didn't have that dad example. I didn't have the Cliff Huxtable, the Uncle Phil, the Fred Sanford. I didn't have all of that. But what I did was I worked with what I had. So I had friends that had dads.
Okay.
So I observed how their relationships were. And then once I became a member of New Home Baptist Church, there was a deacon, Deacon Bill Lewis. I'll never forget it. He and I had a conversation, and we were talking about the struggle I had with the relationship with my dad. Even though my dad and I have a great relationship, I talked to him about the struggle I had with my dad. He talked to me about the struggle he had with his son. And so he said, Rodney, look, let me tell you. He said, you helping me. Matter of fact, his birthday was a couple of days ago. He said, you're helping me. And I said, you're helping me. And so he encouraged me to go have a tough conversation with my dad. And I mean, it was a tough conversation, the one where both of us were emotionally crying. But we had to have that conversation to get the relationship to where it was. And I'm telling you, from that point, our relationship, I mean, we always had a great relationship. But from there, our relationship just skyrocketed.
Right.
And it was because I had an opportunity to hear it from a dad's side of the story.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times,
Right.
you know, unfortunately,
Oh, you
mom
see
will
it,
tell a
so.
different story.
absolutely.
And so when we're old enough to be able to understand and handle it, we should have that conversation with them.
That's awesome. That's awesome testimony.
Paula Sinclair says, Reverend Page, if the situation was reversed, would it have made a difference?
If the situation was reversed, would it have made a difference? Meaning, if I grew up with dad in the home, or
Right. So are you saying, Reverend Sinclair, if he had grown up with a dad in the home, would his situation have been different? I guess that's what she may be asking. I'll wait for her to comment. So while we're waiting for her to comment, we'll so would you consider that to be your role model? Was that person like your role model, or just you looking in on
like
other
an aha
families?
moment.
he was actually one to steer me along the path. I mean, I could go down the list of men
Right.
who've encouraged me, who've been there along the way.
Right.
You know, a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated was there for me at a time where I was going through. I don't mind sharing it. I don't have the same last name as my dad or my mom, and there's a story behind that. There's a story behind that. But I had a conversation with an Omega man who encouraged me to say, "Hey, Rodney, look, you know, why don't you get to the bottom of that now? You get to the bottom of that now," and he walked with me through that situation. And because of that, you know, I had to go and have a paternity test with my dad, and here I am, 47 years old. Here I am, 47 years old, getting a paternity test with my dad because I wanted to have some closure.
Right. Yeah.
And it worked out, and it was a very tense moment for my dad and I, because here he was like, you know, I've raised you, I've been with you, you know, as much as like my son. I'm like, well, you know, there's.
I mean, I think you need
some
that
questions.
closure.
Yeah,
I think you definitely need that
So
closure.
yeah,
Absolutely, that's important. Yeah.
we did it, and it was. You know, it gave me a lot of peace, but, you know, I tell you, the what ifs will wear you out.
It'll wear you out.
What
It'll
else
just
will
play
wear
on
you
your
out?
mind. Because, you know, the devil is get into your mind and start messing you all up.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's very important. I mean, you mentioned Omega Psi Phi. I mentioned Delta Sigma Theta sorority, and so many, oftentimes, we as black women and black men will join these sororities and fraternities because we've seen great people go ahead before us, and many of them were our role models, and we see that they've had that, and so we want the same thing, because if they can be a role model, because so many of these organizations actually have so many mentoring programs.
Absolutely.
And we can talk about that too, guys. They have so many programs that uplift our community, our fraternities and sororities. It's not about the step shows and the hazing and all of that stuff. Deep down, we got social action. We got economic stability. We uplifting our black communities, and so these guys are a part of one of the largest fraternities, black fraternities. And so if you care to even talk about some of the things that you all do and the purpose of Omega Psi Phi, so because it's a reason. Honestly, I didn't put this thing together like this. You know what I mean? So it was just orchestrated in this way that I got two Omega brothers sitting here, and they stand for something, and there's a reason behind it.
Amen.
So if you could just talk about some of those programs that Omega does to kind of help our community and help mentor our young kids that may be fatherless.
Amen.
Indeed.
So, I mean, you have a lot of socially mandated programs, but then you have things that are locally focused for our neighborhoods here.
Yes.
Specifically, we have a mentor program for young men in the district where we help them with sports. We have a talent hunt program that we do. We have a debate contest, which we come and we grade them on debating. But then we also do some things that are just ad hoc. On the first day of school every year, we greet students in predominantly African American schools because they may not have that encouragement. That we're happy that you're here. And you know, at first I was like, I don't want to do this. But then when you go and the kids are shocked and you see, you know, their spirits just raised because someone cares about them. There are things like that we do, among a bunch of different things we can do. But those are some of the things that I find.
And that's that presence.
And exactly, that presence.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know with my chapter, Lambda Gamma Gamma, we do Manhood 101. Manhood 101 is it's an extension of Steve Harvey's manhood mentorship program.
Yeah.
So that occurs every Wednesday They're doing it now virtually, but every
Okay.
Wednesday at Flowers High School.
Oh, wow.
At Flowers High School. So now they're doing it virtually.
Okay.
But on top of that, we have scholarship programs. We have
Yeah.
talent hunt, as was mentioned before.
Yeah.
We do Wizards, taking them out to
Okay.
Wizards game, doing so many other things, just allowing kids to show that men care.
And that's
Right.
that exposure too, because a lot of kids that are in homes without dads don't have that type of exposure.
Right,
So that's
right.
awesome. Yeah.
And actually, it's
Yeah.
the Manhood 101 program is open to young men ages 14 to 18. It's 14 to 18 because of some of the content they discuss.
Oh, okay.
But it's open to any young man, wherever you are. You don't have to be in the DMV. You
Okay.
can be wherever.
Oh, wow.
And you can log in and see that. So
Okay.
look
So
up.
Manhood 101.
Manhood
That's
101.
something that they can Google.
And
Absolutely.
that's part of the Steve Harvey program you were saying?
Yes, an extension of it. Yes.
Oh, that is
That's good
wonderful.
to know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So we have some questions from the chat, Sean. Would you gentlemen say that a single mother can't raise a man?
Well, I mean, I'm here today, so
I'm-
obviously,
I mean,
obviously,
we got proof right
hello.
We got
I'm here.
proof. We got
I'm here.
proof. So that was one of the questions. Reverend Sinclair did come back. I just want to address
Okay.
it because she
Okay.
did come back and sort of clarify. She said if he had a daughter instead of a son first.
Oh, okay. No, I think it would have been the same.
Okay.
It would have been the same. I mean, it's just, how you connect with the child is different from a male versus a
Right.
female. The daughter looks to the dad and the different as as an authority
Right.
and an affection, whereas son looks at the dad as like a role model or an example.
Absolutely.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
two different things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Deacon Moore, I see you out there. Happy Father's Day
Happy
to you,
Father's
Deacon
Day.
Moore.
God,
We-
Deacon Moore.
and he just said thanks for keeping Chattitudes relevant
Lord,
and
I'm
powerful.
honored.
We appreciate that. We appreciate the encouragement. The encouragement helps us keep
Indeed.
going because sometimes
Indeed.
you don't understand how hard and difficult this is to
I
do.
love
By
it.
the way.
It's the game too.
Uh-huh. All right. One more question from the chat line, and then we have a game that we're going to do, and we have for fathers. So, Mom, you can play if you not. Well, should we let them play? I don't know. Any guy on the line.
Yeah. I mean,
or
anybody. Yeah.
Anybody can play this game. So we got
Well,
a
no,
$25
what a guy-
Lowe's
yeah,
gift
it's the
card.
fathers,
So you just
right.
got to give this to someone that you love, a man that you love. So we're gonna play the game in 2 seconds. Somebody said, "Do you get offended when people say Happy Father's Day to single mothers?"
Oh, I do.
You do?
Yeah. I'm not a father. I'm a mother.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't
we
get
say that
offended.
all the time.
I mean, not offended, but I just prefer not to.
yeah, I don't
I
get
prefer,
offended, but
if someone
yeah.
say Happy Father's Day to me, no. That doesn't apply to me.
No,
No, I'm not a father.
No, because we get no love on Mother's Day.
I'm not a
You
father.
can't. No.
Let me tell you something. My husband always says this. He said, being a father sometimes is a thankless job.
Lord have mercy.
Is that true? I mean, I hear him say it.
It is.
Sometimes it's a thankless job because he said, Mother's Day, restaurants, not right now, of course, are packed out for Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah.
Mothers get a whole lot of things, but on Father's Day, I remember years giving my father a necktie. I was very happy. He was very happy. And
Right.
He said, thank you every year.
Right.
He got some Old
Right.
Spice.
Right.
He was
Right.
very happy
Right.
with the Old Spice, but I
Right.
think we got him the same thing every year. I think one time I got him the same card 2 years in a row, so that's
Oh,
really
my
bad.
goodness. Oh,
But
my
I know
goodness.
being a father is a thankless job. What you think?
Well, you want to?
I agree.
I'm telling you.
I think I just had this experience a couple of days ago. I was just feeling burnout. I was like, I drive him everywhere. I'm helping him with
Preach.
school and Zoom.
Preach.
I'm watching. He's telling me about Fortnite, and I have no idea what he's talking about, but I'm listening.
Right.
And then it's just like, all right, bye. And you're like,
Yeah.
that's it? That's all I get?
Yeah.
But I will say, if you have a good group of brothers you can talk to about, and you realize
Absolutely.
everybody deals with it.
Absolutely.
But it is because we do not get the full spread
Oh,
and
no.
flowers and everybody
Some
go to
men
breakfast.
do.
but do you all want
But
it?
look-
I've
Ask
seen some
truthfully.
men do.
Do you want it?
The
Do you
truth.
want it?
The truth is, it doesn't take all that for us.
Yeah.
I don't need to have all of that stuff. All I need is your support. So let me tell you something that happened recently. So it was about 10 o'clock at night. My mother-in-law stays with us, and she texted me and said, Rodney, there's water everywhere in the basement. I was like, oh my God, here we go. So I get up, go down, because I'm Bookman. I'm Uncle Phil, I'm Bookman, I'm all of that. So I go downstairs, there's water everywhere. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm stressed out. I see that this pipe is leaking. So Couldn't do anything to fix it at that time because due to quarantine, Home Depot was closed, all that good stuff. But I had to go and fix it. So I had to get up early in the morning, do my normal routine, take my son to the metro, do all of that stuff at 5 o'clock in the morning, then be at Lowe's, then get home, then fix it. Wow. And I was trying to do all of this stuff in time so that my wife could have a hot shower.
Well, I think that's right. Go, Trina.
So, but here's the thing that my wife did that meant more than anything to me. She texted me and said, "Can I help you with anything?"
Oh yeah.
And so for me,
that's key.
that don't, I don't need a whole lot. Right. But if you give me that, "Can I help you with anything?" or "I'm here for you," we can go.
Because it's recognizing the level of effort you're putting in.
Absolutely.
And you just want that recognition.
Absolutely.
So what we take away from this, ladies, let's support our black fathers. Let's support our men, period.
Amen.
I think me and my
Love our
husband, we
black
have
men.
this thing. What can I do to make your day better? And I think I say that to him, he says that to me, and even if we don't say it, it's implied, and that takes all the selfishness out of relationships. And I mean, I'm here to tell you, like, I love the black man. I'm always uplifting and encouraging the black man. It is very, very important to me. So every time I'm always supportive of my husband and anything that he does and anything that he wants. And I tell you that I'm proud of you. Even if I think it's a crazy idea. I say I think I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, but I'm proud of him because he is a really, really good father. And so this leads us to our game real quick because we want to be able to give this away. So we have a wheel up here, and we're going to just spin the wheel. So first I need y'all to just pick a color off of the wheel. We have purple, we have pink. You only can pick one color: purple, pink, orange, yellow,
that's gold,
green,
and blue.
And blue. So we have those colors, and go ahead and put your colors in right now. And when I spin the wheel, whoever actually put their color in first, and wherever it lands, and whoever chose that color first, they will be the winner of this lovely, lovely, all the way from Maryland, $25 Lowe's gift card today in honor of Father's Day. All right, put your colors in. I'm looking at all the colors in. Putting in all the colors.
That is gold.
Hey, Dave. My cousin Dave is on here. I love you, Dave. I'm so glad you're here. He agreeing with everything that you guys are saying up in here. What in the world is going on up in here?
We could go on and on.
I know.
There could be a part 2.
All right. All right, we got the colors in. Keep putting them in. I'm going to go back and see when it lands. I'm going to go back because once it stops, once the wheel stops, you cannot put your color in. Hey, Bree, I see you. Sabrina's on in. Hey, Tasha, fit to fight in the kingdom. Hey, we exercised yesterday. Boy, I had to turn the camera off of me because I don't know if I was doing the right thing. So, thank you, guys. I think we got a lot of colors in. I'm going to spin the wheel. Whoever got it first is going to win.
Ooh, yellow.
Yellow. Who said yellow
Who's the
first?
first?
First to say yellow. I'm going back. Let me see. That might have been my husband. They gonna think we cheating, Andre. All right, William Tosin. That is my husband.
Happy Father's Day.
Hey,
He
you
needs
know how
that.
we do. We gonna bring this card on back home. Man. We gonna bring it on back. We gonna bring this card on back home. All right, thank you guys for just playing that quick game. We wanted to be able to give something
I
out
like that.
for Father's Day. Babe, if you want me to give it to somebody else, babe, because if you want to keep it, we gonna keep it. If you want me to give it to somebody else, just let me know, and I'll give it to the next person who picked the yellow.
Indeed.
He said me.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
We need some stuff from Lowe's right now. We need some stuff from Lowe's. So, all right.
Awesome.
So, quick question. So, I know we just talked about what the fraternities do in supporting the community with the dads and the sons. What role does the church play in supporting fathers?
In the same way, I know at New Home Baptist Church we have the Brotherhood Ministry, we have the Youth Ministry, we have the Marriage Ministry. So, for me, the church was the place where I actually started seeing an example. I saw an example of chivalry. I saw an example of a man opening the door for his wife. I saw an example of a man carrying his wife's bag and walking to support her. And that's like, man, the conception in the world is, oh man, you soft if you do all of that stuff. No, that's a real man right there. A real man caters to the needs of his family.
Amen.
Especially his wife.
Amen.
Right. So we had this representative, and I'm going to read what she said, actually. She said, there's really a myth right now, and this is what everybody sort of goes by, that 70% of black children are fatherless. So we know that's a myth, but that's what they go off of.
Right.
So she says that the problem is the gun violence in this city of Chicago predominantly, and you know how you're going to solve it. She said you solve it fathers in the home, fathers, and then she repeated it, fathers in the home. So in other words, I'm attributing the gun violence because we don't have black fathers in the home.
I can't say that that's a 100% true statement, but it does have some legs.
Yeah.
You know, it does have some legs because, okay, well, let's look at the reason why the dads aren't at home.
That's what I was getting to.
Let's look at that. We're unjustly biased and stereotyped in the job market. So if you go out and you're working a job, you're scrutinized harder than your counterparts who do the same thing. You have to be double educated. You can't be equally educated. You have to be more educated. You have to have more experience. And then, you know, the competition there, the stereotypes you overcome there, as well as even just the living. You know, being profiled by police and being incarcerated at a higher rate than any other ethnicity is crazy. So it's a bunch of different obstacles that affect us.
Right.
Yeah, you know, and I agree. I think obviously a strong two-parent household is just key.
Indeed.
You know, but to say that's the reason and the rationale behind it is because they're not there, I think it's a little short-sighted.
Right.
And we keep doing short-sighted things that don't solve the problem. So as we talked about fraternities, we talked about the church being there to support us. You know, there are a lot of things we can do, the social determinants, that make sure that you don't end up on the streets doing things you shouldn't do. And that takes away, so while, yes, I would love a two-parent household, it takes away from addressing some of the real social issues that we need to.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I think some of those real social issues has a lot to do with mass incarceration.
Absolutely.
I was actually
That's it.
looking at one of the
That's
statistics on mass incarceration. I'm going to tell you something. I was shocked. There was a thing on the New York Times about 1.5 million missing black men. And they gave this credence to, this was a shocking reality. And they said that, this tripped me out. Listen to this. It said, country's mass incarceration industrial complex has claimed more men than were enslaved in 1850.
Wow.
So
Wow.
the incarceration system had more of our men. Where are these
Absolutely.
missing black men? You know, we're getting arrested
Absolutely.
at disproportionate
Absolutely.
rates right
Absolutely.
now. And so now you're arresting them based on minor violations right now. The recidivism rate is high because now you can't get through the probationary period because they're watching every single thing.
Yeah.
Every single thing, and so they're putting you back in. So our missing black men, this whole mass incarceration is a whole nother thing of enslaved.
And to take it a step further,
Yeah.
what about those who come out of incarceration? How do they get back into society?
We're going to talk
They
about
don't
that.
have enough-
Ooh,
they
that's
don't
our
have
show.
enough-
That's our July show.
Okay.
We got some
Yeah,
re-entry
they don't have
coming
enough
in.
program.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how to re-enter
Right.
society. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
But
So
I'd
yeah,
also
they're coming in July.
I'd also like to say, you know, when you talked about the minor infractions that got people in the system to begin
Absolutely.
with, we talk about drug infractions that disproportionately affected our
Absolutely.
community.
It is.
But when we see the new liberalization of marijuana laws, I mean, just look at who the dispensaries and cultivation centers are going to.
Yeah.
So for years we've been locked up for it, and now that you can make money on it, who's making money?
Yes.
So it's the racial injustice, and that's why I'm so glad you had this and the things you guys have been doing, because it highlights some of these systemic things that have caused some of these things that increase mass
Absolutely.
incarceration.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So where are they? I mean, and again, we go back to the same thing. I go back to this over and over again.
Cycle.
It's a cycle, right?
It's a cycle.
It's a cycle.
It's a cycle.
And I go back to just saying,
It's
you
a
know,
setup too,
they keep
so.
defining
It's a setup.
the missing fathers as being in the home. I mean, I do know that a lot of times, we're having a lot of children out of wedlock right now. Unfortunately, a lot of times when the statistics are counted, the father is not in the home. But it
Right.
does not mean that the father is not
not
actively
present.
engaged
Yeah.
That's right.
with the child. I mean, in statistics after statistics, whenever they begin to research this thing, we find over and over again that black fathers are more active in their children's life than any other
Absolutely.
race
Absolutely.
at a high amount. You'll see where fathers are combing their children's hair online. They're dancing with their children. They going to all of these recitals and they doing this. And they said that this is not happening on the other side, by the way. This is not happening on the other side. But our black fathers are just catching the rap for this thing. And they counting this thing as a census because the father is not in the home. But I just want you to know that, I mean, yes, it's great to have a 2-parent household. That is ideal. But we're not living in an ideal world, right? We're not. But no matter what, you're still there for your child.
Absolutely.
You're still there for your child. Oh, I get excited, guys. Y'all don't understand. I get to start preaching up in here. Okay. Let's go to we had a couple of things on the line. I'm sorry, Sean. You wanted to say something?
I just had one last question, but you can go ahead and get one of those.
Okay. Let's see. Home is your first ministry.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
What you say to that, guys? Home is your first ministry. That's what Denise said.
Indeed.
Home is your first ministry. They doing praise. Yes, Reverend Page. They all preaching up in here. Let's see. Deacon Moore said that it's big business, Reverend. So I think he's talking about the jail. It's a business.
Those private prisons.
Yeah, it's a business. And
they do have it set up.
From getting us in there. Hey, Jamal. How are you, Jamal? Glad you're on the line. Thank you for joining, Jamal. Mass incarceration is the new Jim Crow.
Yes, it is.
Oh my.
Yes, it is.
That's.
Oh my.
Yeah, it is.
Such a
Thanks for raising that point. And Paula says a great conversation. Absolutely. Let me see what else. I'm just going down the line here.
Absolutely.
All right, I think I got. Okay. Somebody said Hazel Moss had a good question. Did I ask her question? I think I asked Hazel's question. If I missed it, type it again. I don't know. I missed it.
Okay.
Hey, Reverend Feaster. Happy Father's Day to you, too. Thank you for logging in. We appreciate you. All right. So, okay. Sean, go ahead.
Let's sort of end it on a good positive note. So what, for each of you to answer, so what legacy would you like to leave your children and then the next generation that come after them?
That's a good question to end on. For me, it's just a legacy of a bridge builder. Even with not just my child, people I've mentored. Learn from me, be better than I was, and then do what I did for you for the next people to come along. Because that's the key to it all, to repairing a lot of stuff that we had in our community. So just be and continue to be a bridge builder.
Absolutely. One of the things that I would like to is, I would like my children to remember, there's a poem of Sermons We Seek. I would like my children to remember everything that they saw me do and take that and just reciprocate it and do it over and over again. I want to leave my children a financial legacy as well, so that when I'm absent, they don't have to worry about how am I going to live, how am I going to take care of this, that, and the other.
Amen.
I want to set it up so that when it's my time to go, everyone's set up in my household, and also have set up some things for my children so that when their children, when they're fortunate enough to have children, they can implement the same thing to build legacy and generational wealth.
That's true. We talked about that 2 weeks ago, too, about building that. And Lisa Haynes said, pass it on. That's it. Any advice for young fathers? And I think that they've given plenty of advice. I mean, they talked about legacy building. They talked about being there. Hazel had a question that they want everybody to ask. Have them talk about the effect of fathers in the home that are not good role models and the effect on the children.
That's a good one.
So you got a father in the home that's not a good role model. So see what I'm saying? They talk about these statistics and the father not being in the home, but then you got some fathers in the home that's not a good role model. So what's the effects on that?
It's similar into the void that we both grew up with, just on a different side of the spectrum. But, this is why activities and things are so important. As we were talking, I was thinking about the Little League, the Senator Satchel Paige Little League in D.C., Black Little League, where so many black and brown fathers are coaches. But there are a lot of kids who don't have that. So at least they can see it somewhere, and they can learn from that. That's not Uncle Phil or Cliff Huxtable and things like that. But, it's just a different side of the spectrum. And just because you have a bad role model doesn't mean you have to be bad.
Absolutely.
I don't think either of us turned out bad.
That's true.
That's
true.
I have friends who grew up in a similar situation, and they found their role model or their leadership and support from someone who was that basketball coach, who was that teacher in school. And so, you just have to, I would say to the young man, just seek it out, just seek it out. It's there. There's somebody there that can help you. And for those of us who have overcome that and are on the other side of it, you can see the signs of it. You know, it's a lot of times it's acted out in bad behavior or things to get attention. We can see that, and we can go and meet that need because we know what it feels like.
Right. There's a considerable amount of pressure on men, guys. Like, one of my favorite movies is Claudine, where James Earl Jones just kind of skip out. You might be too young for that, Adrian. You might not know Claudine. But James Earl Jones, he kind of skip out on the children because he's like, look, it's too much pressure. We got to be the breadwinner. We got to bring all of this money home. And the pressure just becomes so overwhelming for fathers sometimes. What advice, if you can give to anyone right now, you know, when the pressure, when it just gets so much, you know, how do you still just hang in there?
Well, for me, one of the things I do is I have a small circle, who we fellowship, and we put dates on the calendar where we're going to go out and just be with the fellas. And when we have those times, we can kind of release steam. Not that everything is bad, but you know, you can release some steam, and so there's someone that can relate to what you know, the pain or the struggle that you have. And I think you need that. You know, for me, I get my peace when I'm outside doing the grass. No one comes out. It's just me and the Lord and me talking to myself, and that works for me.
Yeah, you need that peace.
You definitely need that outlet. Everybody needs that outlet. I have a group of buddies. We'll go play golf, and you got hours of just doing that. But, you know, nothing worth doing has ever been easy.
Absolutely.
So you have to see it through if you want to, you know, reap the rewards of it.
Absolutely.
So, you know, that's easier said than done. So that's why the outlet's important.
Absolutely.
Because you get halfway through and you're like, I don't think I'm ever going to see the other end. But, you know, use that support. Use the church, your fraternities, your friends, whatever you have to get you to the other side.
Absolutely.
And there's always something out there. I mean, it's so many programs out there. They're online. It's just so many programs that we can almost turn to. Let's see. Deacon Boy said, men of God, you had brought Jeremiah 29:11 alive just by your story and just by your testimony. And we're grateful. We're just so grateful to have you. And I wanted people to see that, hey, we got black fathers working, doing what they supposed to do. And I heard Adrian even was singing to his child and talking to his child even while the child was in the mother's womb.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what your grandmama was talking about.
That story's not supposed to get out.
No, but I think it's important. I mean, they say that the children can hear, they can listen. I mean, so, you know, that's a great thing. That's a wonderful thing. I'm excited. I hope you're all excited. I hope that you all learned some things today. We're going to go to like a 1-minute commercial break, guys. But I want you to hang on. We may have another gift. We may not have enough. Just hang on anyway. It doesn't matter. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to have our family and friend sponsors up on there. Again, remember, if you want to be a family and friend sponsor with us, we want to keep this we want to keep this podcast going. And so just support us, guys. Just support us because we're doing this for all of us. This is not just for us. This is for our friends, our family, our community, our church community, our fraternity, sorority community. This is for our community. Let's just keep uplifting one another, guys. So we're going to just go to a quick commercial. Give us 2 minutes. We're going to come back with our victory viewpoints. People are already saying part 2 on this Black Fathers Matter. So whenever we get those responses, part 2, we know that this was a good thing. So because sometimes they'll say part 2. If we don't get a part 2, we got to rethink this. So we got a part 2 already. So guys, we're going to come right back. Don't you go anywhere. We're going to come back with our victory viewpoints. Thank you so much.
Indeed.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome,
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for your testimony.
Talk to me, Pastor Mitchell. I don't know about you, but I've had all kinds of friends in my life. I think I've been right down that road with you. Yeah, I had some so-called friends. Yes. When trouble came, they went the other way. Tell me about it. But one thing I'm glad about, that ain't a friend like the lonely Jesus. No. Well, ain't nobody come on do me like Jesus. Ain't nobody do me like the Lord. Ain't nobody do me like Jesus. 'Cause he's my friend.
welcome back. This was a great segment,
Yes.
and we just gave our fathers a happy Father's Day gift.
Yes.
Thank
We're
you.
just so
Thank you.
grateful for them coming out today on Father's Day.
Thank
So
you.
wives, when they get home, they got the gifts from us. They got the gifts from us.
Thank you.
My husband brings something home. I'm like, where you get it from? Where you get it from? So yeah, no, they got
Oh, yeah.
the gifts from us, guys. And so here's our victory viewpoint for today. We're gonna let Sean do that, and then I'll come back and talk about what we're going to talk about next week. And we hope to see you next week. Go ahead,
Yes. Happy Father's Day again to all our men out there. I applaud all of those who are present and show their love through not only words but action. As a child, we receive our identities from our fathers. One, whether they are present or not, we begin to structure our thinking based on what we see and hear our fathers say about us. So let's find ourselves building our children up so that they can soar beyond what we could ever imagine for ourselves. Psalm 27:10 says, when my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take me up. So keep that in mind. So whether your mother or father is in the picture or not, we have a loving father who was ever present and love us unconditionally.
Yes, that is so key. All right, guys, join us next week. We're going to have some parents in here. We're going to talk about some co-parenting strategies. Because we got to co-parent whether we're in the house together or even outside the house together. So this applies to everyone with any children in the house. And even if you don't have kids in the house, tune in anyway, because we just want you to come back with us. We will see you next week. And remember, Black fathers matter, and remember that we love you, and so does God.
Yes.
We'll see you next week, guys.
See ya.
On Chattitudes. Thank you.
Thank
Have a good time. Listen up, check us out. He's the hotline now to shine. Come on and join us. There's lots of surprise for you. Fun and family, with great fellowship too.
Crystal and Sean had the exciting words. I'm sure there's something that you've never heard. Sunday at 6, it's an excellent mix. We got spiritual flair, special guests will be there.
Come on and join us. We're here and waiting for you. Connect with us at 6 o'clock. We want to share in all you do. Come on and join us. Come right here and find. Connect with us and share your thoughts. We want to explore your mind. Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?
Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?
Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?
Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?